Hey, Sean here, and in this video I'm going to go over the 9 essential elements that you should have on your website. Now, as you're probably aware, your website is your primary digital asset. So if you're missing something on your website, that could result in loss of leads, customers, and sales. In fact, 80% of people will not return back to a website that they've had a bad experience on. So you can see how critical it is that your website has everything that it should. So again, in this video, we're going to go over those 9 essential elements that you should have on your website. All right, let's dive into those 9 essential elements, starting with number 1, which is having your homepage tell people what you do in under 50 milliseconds. Now, you may not realize this, but most people will decide on whether to stay on your website or leave in under 50 milliseconds. So as you can see, having the top part of your homepage before they have to scroll up and down is critical to tell people what you do and why they should be on your website. So again, having that is probably the number 1 thing on this whole list that you should have on your website. Okay, so moving on to number 2, which is having your phone number or contact information on your website. Now, it is critical to have that. So many websites don't have it or they have it hidden. I would suggest having it at the top of your website and at the bottom, because this is something that people look for and they will leave your website if they can't find it. All right, so then moving on to number 3, which is a call to action on your website. Without this, your website is not effective. And if you're not sure what a call to action is, it's basically a statement telling the visitor of your website what to do, such as call you now, or fill out this form, or contact us for a free evaluation. Without something like that, your person who's visiting your website isn't likely, or is much less likely, to actually reach out to you. So you need to make sure you have this. And I read from a recent study that about 70% of small business websites are missing a call to action. So check your site, make sure you've got this on yours. Okay, so moving on to number 4, which is a good design. Now, this may seem obvious, but it really is critical to have a good design. In fact, 57% of internet users said that they wouldn't recommend a business if it didn't have a good looking website. So as you can see, it's a critical thing to have on your site. Okay, so now moving on to number 5, which is an online form or some way for people to contact you right from your website. This is so critical, and having it in a key location where people can easily find it is a big deal, because there are so many websites out there. People have to search and search and search trying to contact you, and they give up and they just leave and go to someone else's website. So make sure you have this and you have it in strategically easy to find locations on your website. All right, so good. Now let's move on to number 6, which is customer testimonials. Customer testimonials are the best way to sell people on your website. By having other people talk about how good your products and services are is so much better than you just saying we are the best, or we can do it better than anyone else, or hearing it from someone else creates a much deeper impact on your website visitors and will make them more likely to purchase from you, because let's face it, people want to know what other people's opinions are. Take a thought about this. When you go on Amazon and you haven't bought a product before, what's probably one of the first things you do? It's check the reviews. And that's the same with the website. If you can put those positive customer testimonials on your site, you're going to be light years ahead of other people's websites in your industry. Good. So then let's move on to number 7, which is making sure your site is mobile friendly. Now, this is so big. If your site is not mobile friendly, you are losing so much traffic and so many potential leads and sales. Because on average, about 60% of all website traffic is mobile. So it's so critical. Make sure your website's mobile and make sure that it looks good, it functions good in mobile, not just your home page, but all the pages on your website, especially your critical pages. Okay, good. So then moving on to number 8, which is a clear description of your product and services. You will not believe how many websites that I go to and I can't quite understand what their product or service is. And I'm sure you've experienced this as well. Don't fall into that trap. Make sure your website clearly states what your services and products are. In fact, many people will leave a website and never come back again if they do not understand what your service or product is. So make sure that you clearly state that on your key pages. 1 being your home page. Number 2, you should have a product or services page where you clearly state what you do and what services, products you offer. All right, now moving on to the last one, number 9, which is having a fast loading website that loads under 3 seconds. This again is so critical. So many people will leave if your website does not load fast enough. In 3 to 2 seconds is probably the max you want your website to load. There were some recent studies that showed, 53% of visitors will abandon a website if it doesn't load in under 3 seconds. So as you can see, you're losing over a little bit more than 50% of the traffic to your site if it doesn't load in under 3 seconds. So check your site, see if it loads that fast. If not, you've got a big problem and you need to get that fixed. All right, I hope those help you. I'm gonna leave a link in the description of this video where you can get a free evaluation from my company. We'll go over all these points and some other things and just check and see if your company meets all these points and what could be improved or what might need to be improved. So also, if you're on YouTube watching this, make sure to like this video and give us a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the video. And there is a little bell icon near the subscribe button. Click that to get notified every time we send out one of these amazing, awesome videos. And till then, good luck, and make sure you take advantage of that link in the description to get that free evaluation.